So I've ran the original Ratchet and Clank on and off for quite some time. And I think when you think of me, you probably think of the guy who sits at the top of NG Plus, the game's main category. And it's notably one of the hardest records to get in all of Ratchet. Um, so I last held the record with 1934 in April of 2018. It has since been surpassed by Franz Core multiple times, and the world record currently sits at 1851 by Franz Core, and it was set on July 4th, 2020. So that time is coming up to a year. Um, on June 2nd, 2021, I got 19 flat. And ever since I got that time, I felt the need to improve. And since I was only 9 seconds off the record, I thought, I might as well go for it. I wanted to get back in tip-top shape, and I wanted to see if I could compete for the record one more time before I inevitably go back to making YouTube videos for my main channel. And I got this run here offline, 1857, so we're going to do some post-commentary. So let's give it a watch. So I'm going to assume you know most things about the movement. I'm going to assume you know all the basics, so I'm just going to say how everything went. So, blazing through Veldin. I got a 19 on Veldin, which is definitely above average for me. I take as low as 21, and it can go... Well, I take as high as 21, and it can go as low as 18, so obviously 18s are fairly rare for me, but I got a great 19 here, so that's good stuff. Yeah, the first two planets went really well, 19 Veldin and then 104 Novalis. I occasionally get a 103, and I've had one 102. So 104 is great stuff. Yeah, this run was actually achieved offline about 30 minutes ago from now, on June 18th, 2021. Pretty stoked about it, considering I had a lot of runs that were really close. I had an 1859 that missed the button at the very end. Like, I hit the corner of the button and the run didn't count. I had a 19 flat that was a dupe. Like, the decimal was higher than... Because my original 19 flat was 0.100, and the other one was not the same, so it kind of sucked. I had two 1901s. I had a 1902, 1904, 1905, 1906. Yeah, this was a fight to break into the 18-minute barrier. So we'll see if I end up getting, if I skip straight for the world record next time, or if, if it takes me a string of 1 second PBs here, or if Franz comes back and improves it, and might not even be able to get it. It's all... Oh, that was... I tried to space those double jumps there really well because, man, I could tell the Walloper side flip was kind of far back, so I had to really stretch those out. Yeah, these first three planets were really good. I actually think I remember I ledge grabbed the briefcases on this run, but that could be a different run I'm thinking of. I've been spamming so I've been doing runs on stream like every single day for a while now. Yeah, I think I ledge grabbed I ledge grabbed here. And you need the camera to be lined up here in order to get train skip in the way that I do it. So, big time loss there from the ledge grab. The ledge grab didn't even lose that much time. It's more that it turns the camera around there. So I lost about 2 seconds, maybe 2.5. But still a fine run. I've had trouble saving time on Kerwan overall. So I always seem to make at least one mistake on Kerwan. It's very difficult to be consistent at in this game, but I think it's something a lot of people know me for, just in speedrunning as a whole, is my consistency. It's definitely... I mean, if I were to say it myself, I think my consistency is certainly better than my speed aspect. I definitely aim for results, and in order to get results, I need to be able to do the same thing every time, very efficiently. My consistency's been lacking a lot recently. I mean... You can't say that with all the low 19s I've gotten, but I was hoping to break into the 18-minute barrier, I guess, days ago, right? But it's okay. So I think I may have gotten a long load on Eudora, because I did end up losing a second on this planet, even though I remember playing pretty well. Yeah, it looks pretty standard to me. So we're coming up to Blarg. So the run's really good so far. Nothing too huge. This is where I make my first big mistake. On the way into the Blarg clip, you're gonna notice a handful of planets are wrong. I'm gonna boil it down to 4 main planets, but I'm not gonna spoil which, just to give you some excitement. Blarg is the first big one. I lose about 5 seconds or so from a missed clip. If not 6. On the way in, I actually kind of forget what happened, but I think the camera wasn't in the most favorable position, so when I threw the decoy to try and clip, again, the camera has to be in kind of a precise spot, and I actually labbed out this method of doing the Blar clip fairly recently, and it's worked out really well for me. Yeah, see, so, okay, that was actually really strange. Yeah, see, that was the other way around. That clip should have worked every day of the week. That's very interesting that failed. The backup that I did, the second throw, should have actually failed every day of the week, so sometimes Blark just does that. Decent entry on the way back, but yeah, that's like 6 seconds down the drain. So at this point, I try to keep my head in the game a lot just to keep trying to pull it back, because I do have time in the end game, and it's 5-6 seconds is not the end of the world. I can still pull it back. I've had a little bit of problems with Cineflips as of recently on Rilgar, and it's mostly just because of my hands giving out sometimes. But this one went smooth as hell, so can't really say much to that. Yeah, clean. I know it's a really weird thing to comment on, but I think I've actually gotten a lot better at skipping cutscenes and just mashing start and just having a better rhythm for it. It's just something that I'm saving a tiny amount on. So, good Rilgar. I don't usually save time, but I save time on it here. So at this point, I'm like +3. And I should be about even, but I did miss that Blar clip, so the run's not ideal so far. And this is one of the highlights of the run right here, my Umbris. This Umbris went really good. So I did 3 side flips, and you don't have to swing the wrench here, but I got the grounded wrench swing, which saves time over the hyper strike. If you hyper strike, it's safer to swing the wrench. So, and I gain a lot of speed. I land right on the infobot, and I hear the music is really far back. Like, you can sometimes tell the pace of the planet based on the music, and that was one of my fastest Umbrises ever. So that was really good stuff. It was very nice. So back to even, and a lot of these runs that I've been doing have just been blending like together. So I'm just gonna, like, if you haven't seen Battaglia before, you know, just watch and have your mind blown as I explain how I've been streaming a lot, like, every day, and eventually when I had that 1859 that, like, died to the edge of the button, I was like, I don't think I want to stream anymore, because a big reason for my mental block, I think, was just the streaming aspect. I just wasn't really feeling it, and I kind of felt like I had to put up, like, you know, I want to be happy when I stream. I don't want to, like, have people come in and then I'm upset and all that sort of stuff. Good Battaglia. I don't want people to come in and see me upset or whatever. Like, obviously my stream projects a very natural mood, so if I'm upset, I'm gonna be upset. And if I'm happy, I'm gonna show that I'm happy. But if that happens multiple days in a row, where I'm just constantly, like, kind of agitated because I'm not getting this run and I'm not living up to the results that I'm getting, it's not really that fun to stream. So that was happening for a while, so I just decided, like, when I got that run, I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a couple days offline and try and see if I can get a PB offline. And so I did, and what helped me a lot was a set of Counter-Strike matches on Blast Premiere. I've been watching a lot of Counter-Strike esports. I've been watching I'm actually currently watching a match on the side with Complexity and G2, so it's a lot of fun. Let's grab here on Orcs on 1. No biggie. Pretty quick overall. I'm pretty much the only top runner, I think, that doesn't do the instant punch for the Clank proxy, but I've had really bad success rate with it, so I take my time, and it only loses like a second, maybe a little bit less than that even. It's not that bad. I just take the time loss. I'd rather go for the consistency. I do some other risky things to make up for that, but I just don't think that's second. It's the same on Blarg. There's a faster clip that Username and Franz does, but I don't really think it's worth it. I'm not really willing to risk my whole run for 1 second. I don't think the run is down to that kind of level yet. Yes, 1 second matters, but I can still PB by another 10, so, you know. Alright, so fine run so far. I'm +1 by Gaspar, and that's kind of my goal, right? My goal by Gaspar is to be close to even. So 822, that's what I got in my PB. 823 is what I'm on this run, so I'm +1. Fairly good for me. So you're gonna notice Pokey has evolved into probably the second, if not probably the hardest planet in the run, I'd say. You want to give that title to Hoven, but I'd argue it's Pokey. Just the whole thing is very difficult. You have to kind of hope you don't fall off the windshield, which can happen at seemingly random sometimes. You can't really mess up these fish. You can't really fuck around too much. You have to hit your shots on these fish, otherwise you won't get the Guy Warp. Now the Guy Warp's gotten pretty tight with the way I've been doing my movement and everything. And you're gonna notice something if you've been watching my stream a bit, is right here I shoot these Devastators up, I zap these guys, and I actually put the Pyrocitor back on the quick select. Now normally you would use that, you'd have the Rhino on that slot in the quick select for a strat on Quartu, but Sneepy recently fiddled with using the Devastator on the Quartu ending, and it's actually slightly faster and more consistent. It usually is about the same speed, but occasionally it just seems like the robot behind the door dies like half a second faster. And also, I had an 18 pace run die to the Rhino missing the guy, even though I went wide. Like, I long jumped really wide and shot really late, so I gave the Rhino a lot of room to, like, have all the shots go through the wall and hit the dude. But unfortunately, none of the shots hit him, and that's when I decided, like, okay, I think I gotta fiddle with this Devastator strat more. I tried it a bit before, but I didn't really think much of it. Okay, yeah, that was scary, so I almost slid off right there. But luckily, I got so many multi-kills on all the fish. See, I got them all on that side, and I even had time to clear this. This is ideal as fuck. So you want to clear the button, and then you want to get all of them on the right side. I think I just did that for a quick ricochet. Got low lag on the fish there. Sometimes when you kill the fish, you just get like a huge lag explosion. But nothing to really worry about. So, super good pokey so far. So I shoot over there just in case there's a guy left or something, but I mean, this is just money. So good movement. And now we're coming up to the new pokey ship fight, which I get kind of, and I'll show you why. So you shoot 7 missiles here, and then you quit out, and then this is the hard part. You got to get this entire tanker ship in three missiles, and I had to use 4. So I had to hope. Yeah, so basically I was like hoping, yeah, so that guy, I was hoping he would drop me ammo, but I couldn't get it, so if you miss the 3rd tanker in that way, you just destroy the 4th in the way I did, and then you just go to the last one. And I only lost about 4 seconds doing that, so that's really not that bad. I actually still saved a second on Pokey with that, because my PB I think my PB may have done the same, but I had better movement. Also, a small menuing mistake, I forgot about that there. I'm surprised I saved a second on Pokey. I think the Guy Warp and the movement and just clearing the fish and everything was super clean, and all the movement was super clean. So I'm actually not surprised I saved a second. We're coming up to the worst planet in the run. This went horribly wrong. It's a difficult planet, but it shouldn't be something that I mess up this bad. So the first mistake, I think, yeah, that bird fucked with me. So I was like, and then I side flip right there. And I'm trying to midair the whole time, and I couldn't really get a midair off. So I lose all my speed, and I just lost a bunch of time from that. So already now I've lost like 3. I wake up the guys, and then they snap me off the edge as I try to midair. Like, I barely got a midair through, and then they snap me off the edge. And so at this point, yeah, it's pretty rough works on 2. Quick thrust over the wall. I might even be... I don't remember if I messed up the ending. I don't think I did, though. I used to have problems with the ending like a couple days ago, but I found a pretty good strat that works. I used to do... Yeah, I fucked it up a little bit. That's not too bad, though. You can, like, fall all the way down, and it can be really devastating. But yeah, I lost about 9 seconds to my gold here. So, pretty bad loss. So I'm back behind now, +4. But I do have time in the end game. I think the best end game I've ever had past Hoven, I think I managed to save like 12 or 14 seconds in the end game. So I do have a lot. And Hoven has been very on and off. It's one of the worst planets in the run. It's been playing nice these past 2 days. Right before I got this run, I actually had a run die to Hoven. That was -1 out of orcs on 2, so it was better than this run. but the middle turret just didn't cooperate. A lot of people ask why Hoven is always so bad, and basically the way I can explain it is, so there's 5 points on the ship. You can see I'm destroying 2 at a time. This middle turret right here dies whenever it wants to. So you can see, you might not have noticed it, but that was actually slow. You can destroy that in like so quickly, and it's because there's certain sweet spots on the turrets where they take 5 times the amount of damage, and you're hoping that... So we have consistent sweet spots to hit the 5 times damage for parts 1 and 2 and parts 4 and 5. But that one in the middle, that third one, we've tried a lot of different lineups, and nothing seems to work. It always seems to be random. And what I got right there was actually kind of a medium ground. It started going up in flames, and then it went back to like the normal hits, and then it went back up in flames. So I lost about 4 seconds on my PB from that slow middle turret there. This is a beautiful gimmick. That little PDA pause was just to make sure I had enough speed. You can actually triple midair the runway on that. So if you get a really good walloper from the spawn point, you can get a triple midair. But this was like a 1.5 seconds or 2 seconds off my gold. That was very textbook. So I saved about 4 here. Sneepy found a new lineup on Ultanis that can insta-skip this cutscene at the start of Ultanis if you hold X right as the ship goes away, but I missed it on this run because I turned the brightness all the way up on my monitor, and that's because I had trouble seeing the back wall when I had to clip on Drek's fleet, so I didn't know that this was going to mess it up. That's the first time that's like really, fucked with me. So yeah. Fun fact, you can get a little elevator boost. I haven't gotten it since I went back to this category, but you can get a boost that like doubles your speed. If you side flip off that elevator for some reason, you just like get like a huge boost, and it only takes 1 side flip to go towards your ship. But I haven't gotten it yet. It's probably a frame perfect thing if it's really that rare. So we're coming up to the last 3 planets, which all have gotten pretty hard, especially this one. Yeah, so I talked about replacing the Rhino. I remember telling myself when I got to this planet, I was just saying, just pick the Devastator and you're all good. So during the side flip, I select the Devastator. 1, 2, 3. Shoot 3 times there. And you can see the robot dies very quick. I think I missed the ending. Yeah, so that was a strat I found when I came back to this category. Is you can walloper into the slide, and if you hit the slide on the correct frame of the walloper, you'll animation cancel it into a bunch of neutral speed, and you can just do 1 midair at the bottom, you'll fly towards the ship. So I lost about maybe 3 seconds from the bad ending there. But I got the first part, which is the hard bit, and this is one of the worst planets of the run. But, I mean, you got to admire the way I play this. So, I'm nervous as hell. This could be it. Like, I didn't really, like, I kind of knew. But check this out. I accidentally side flip. I midair and I barely turn, and I keep my speed. I side flip again, and I have like no speed, and I barely get a neutral long jump off that ledge. If I was a tad lower there, I would have bonked. That neutral long jump is a bonk, like, so, like, yeah, every day of the week if you're like just a tad lower. And yeah, this back wall is very tough to see if your brightness is low, so very nervous when I went for this clip, and the camera kind of shifted to the left there, so I thrusted in the wrong direction. But I had a really bad Drex fleet in my PB too, so I only ended up losing like a second or so. And here we go. It's Veldin 2 time. So at this point, I see my time. It's a 17:39. An average Veldin 2. So my Veldin 2, my PB is 121. My gold is like a high 117. So if you do the math, I was like, okay, I just need a Veldin. I don't need a good Veldin, because 121 Veldin is like, that's bad. And that'll get you 19 flat. So I just needed anything better than that. I just needed anything better than that. I execute the chain. It goes well. And then I was nervous for this chain. And I was like, okay, I can do this. I got just good enough speed to avoid another PDA pause there. And this just goes textbook. At this point, my heart is pounding out of my chest. I was like, holy shit. Like, it's finally, like, I knew that, like, okay, this is like 1858 or 57. Like, just play it safe and you're good. Like, I knew it wasn't, like, down to the wire. I knew I had, like, a second or two to play with. But my heart was still pounding out of my chest. So at this point, I'm like, okay, avoid the death barrier and go high. Just go really high. Like, take it safe. So I do a ground pound cancel there, and just to be safe, I did another ground pound cancel instead of thrusting forward. And I played the button safe. Jump in the middle. There you go. Got it. And that's 18:57. That's a new second place time. I was already second place to begin with, but now only 7 seconds away from beating the record, 6 seconds from tying it. So yeah, bad planets. I mentioned there were 4 bad planets. Blarg was 6 seconds-ish. Orcs on 2 was about 9 seconds. Again, this is compared to like golds. So it's maybe more like 5 on Blarg. It's more like 7 on Orcs on 2. Hoven, I think, was 4. 4's pretty big at this point. So 4 there. And Drek's fleet was also about 4. So that's like the big... Yeah, that's the big 4 that I can save time on. So if I combine that... I can also save a little bit on, like... I've got a little bit on Pokey. I've got a little bit on Kerwan. You know, a little bit here and there overall. And I've got a little bit on the Quartzu ending as well. 3 seconds there. So it's not all bad, like all great. So, you know, it's not all 4 planets. There's always something you can improve. But yeah, thank you for watching. And yeah, I will say that if you've been watching me on Twitch, I guess I'll make an announcement, even though it's going to my second channel. Once I get this record, I really want to return to making YouTube videos because I have a long-term goal of wanting to move out, get away from home, get my own place. And in order to do that, I need money. And YouTube pays definitely a lot more than Twitch does. So I'll have to abandon these record attempts for a while, even though they are enjoyable. There's not a whole lot of cash in it. And obviously I want to do something that I enjoy, but it kind of comes and goes. There's like 3 months where I want to stream and do runs, and then there's like, I get really burnt out on that, and then there's 3 months where I want to make YouTube stuff. And like right now, I want to go back to making YouTube, but last time, you know, when I finished my last video in March, I wasn't really feeling it, but I still got a bit more of a grind in me to do. I've got to close out a sub 1851, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you around.